I accepted an alien marriage deal, unaware my bride was the queen of everything. Alex Mercer wiped the sweat from his forehead as he adjusted the strap of his small cargo pack. The streets of Terex. Nine's Market were alive with colors he had no names for, smells that were both intoxicating and stomach-turning, and noises that made his ears ring. Glowing stalls floated above the ground on tiny anti-grav platforms, and merchants shouted offers in dozens of alien languages. Alex, a human trader from Earth, felt more out of place than ever. Fresh Zernian crystals! Only 10 credits each, a tall, three-eyed vendor called, waving a clawed hand. Alex squinted at the glittering stones. They were beautiful, but no one seemed interested. Humans were a rare sight here. Most aliens barely noticed them, and when they did, it was usually with suspicion or amusement. Humans can't trade, can they? Alex muttered under his breath, frowning as another group of aliens passed him by without even glancing at his small stall. Just then, a shadow fell over him. He looked up to see a figure unlike any he had seen before. The alien was elegant, almost unnaturally so, with silver skin that shimmered faintly and eyes that seemed to hold entire constellations within them. It smiled, a small, knowing curve of the lips. "You are Alex Mercer?" the being asked, its voice musical, smooth, almost hypnotic. Alex blinked. Yes, that's me. Can I help you?" "I am Thalor," it said. "I represent a noble interest, one that requires a human participant." Alex laughed, nervously. A human participant? In what? Thalor extended a hand, and in it was a small, elegant crystal disc. When Alex touched it, a holographic image sprang up, showing a figure seated on a throne taller than any building he had ever seen. The figure was regal, radiating power that Alex could feel in his chest. "This," Thalor said, "is your bride." Alex stared at the image. "My bride?" "Yes. She has agreed to a union with you. A formal marriage contract, binding you both as partners. The benefits are substantial." Alex hesitated. Humans weren't usually involved in alien politics, at least not in ways that mattered. "Benefits like what?" Thalor's smile widened. "Wealth. Influence. Travel beyond the stars. Your people will admire you, and your skills may gain recognition across sectors." Alex's mind raced. Wealth? Adventure? Recognition? That sounded amazing. "So, she's a queen or something?" he asked, hoping he sounded casual. "Not exactly. Important, yes, but her official title is complex." Thalor waved a hand, dismissing it as if the details were trivial. "It is enough to know she is highly regarded. You will see soon enough." Alex swallowed. He had always been a trader, someone who relied on courage and luck more than skill or strength. This could be the opportunity of a lifetime. "Well,
Okay, I guess.
let's do it." Thalor's eyes glimmered. Excellent. The ceremony was simple by alien standards. A hovering platform appeared, lit by soft blue lights, and Alex was led forward by Thalor. He didn't notice the subtle bowing of the crowd, the way their eyes followed him with a mix of reverence and curiosity. And then he saw her. Liara, his bride. She stood with a calm grace, far taller than him in stature but not in height. Her silver hair shimmered with hints of color that changed as light touched it. Her eyes were like twin galaxies, deep and infinite, yet warm. She smiled at him, and Alex's stomach twisted with a strange mixture of awe and fear. "Hello," he said awkwardly. "Welcome," she replied, her voice clear and melodic. "I am Liara." Alex felt a sudden weight of expectation. He had no idea what he was supposed to say or do. He had imagined noble women before, but never anything like this. This was something else. The officiant, a floating orb of light, spoke in a language Alex didn't understand. Thalor whispered translations in his ear. "By agreeing to this union, you accept the responsibilities, privileges, and duties tied to your bride's position." Alex nodded, though he had no idea what he was agreeing to. "Sure?" Duties. Responsibilities. Got it. The ceremony ended, and Alex was handed a small token, a crystal pendant with faint, glowing lines. This is a symbol of your bond, Thaler explained. Wear it at all times. Alex slipped it around his neck, feeling the gentle warmth it radiated. He glanced at Lyra, expecting some kind of reaction, some hint of how serious this all was. She only smiled faintly, calm, patient, knowing. Afterward, Thalor led Alex to the balcony overlooking the city. Alex's jaw dropped. The market, which had seemed enormous from ground level, now looked like a tiny patch of color below. The city floated on pillars of light, connected by bridges that gleamed in the artificial sun above. Ships of every shape and size moved gracefully through the sky lanes. It is beautiful, Alex whispered. More than beauty, Thalor said. This is power, and now you are part of it. Alex turned to Thalor. Wait, what do you mean part of it? Thalor smiled cryptically. Your bride is not merely a noble or merchant. She is the queen of everything in this sector. All alliances, treaties, and leadership flow from her decisions. And now, you are tied to her. Alex laughed nervously. The queen of everything? You're joking, right? No joke, Thalor replied, his eyes sharp. Every species you saw bowing, every fleet you glimpsed in the sky, she commands them. And you are now part of her world.
Alex staggered back, gripping the balcony railing. His mind reeled.
He had thought he was getting a simple adventure, maybe some money, maybe a story to tell Earth. He hadn't realized he had just married the most powerful being he had ever encountered. Over the next few hours, Alex was introduced to customs, schedules, and rules he barely understood. Aliens of countless shapes and sizes came to pay respects, each bowing, nodding, or kneeling to Lyra, and silently acknowledging him. A small, round creature with 6 eyes approached him, its voice squeaky but urgent. You, human, must follow the Queen's guidance. Misstep, danger. Alex blinked. Danger? I didn't even know there were rules. Rules of respect, the creature said. Every action, observed. Liara approached then, her eyes soft. Do not be afraid. You have only just arrived. But you must learn quickly. Being my partner is not about power. It is about balance. And humans are different. That difference may be useful. Alex frowned. Useful? I barely know how to use the hover carts here. She smiled again, patient. You will see. Sometimes simplicity and curiosity are strengths that even centuries of wisdom cannot match. Alex had no idea what she meant, but before he could ask, a sudden commotion drew everyone to the palace's front doors. He leaned over the balcony and gasped. Thousands of aliens, some he recognized from the market, some from ships in the sky, all knelt at the palace gates. A hush fell over the crowd, deep and total, as if the city itself were holding its breath. Alex turned to Thalor, eyes wide. What is happening? Thalor's face was unreadable. The galaxy acknowledges its queen, and through her you, human, now share a connection to everything. His stomach churned. He had expected a simple trade deal, maybe a small adventure, maybe even fame on Earth. He had not expected this, to be married to someone who ruled planets, fleets, and civilizations. And yet, even as fear gripped him, a tiny spark of excitement flickered. Maybe, he thought, humans have a way of surviving anywhere, even in a universe that thinks we are weak. He looked at Lyra again, and this time he noticed a small twinkle in her eyes. Not amusement exactly, but a hint of challenge. Alex swallowed hard. I guess I have a lot to learn. Liara nodded.
Indeed.
And your first lesson begins now. The balcony doors closed behind them, the crowd still kneeling below. Alex realized with a strange mix of dread and wonder that his life had changed forever. He had thought he was just accepting a marriage deal for a quick adventure. He had no idea that he had just joined the ruler of everything, and the galaxy was watching. The next morning, Alex woke to a view that made his jaw drop. Through the enormous crystal windows of Liara's chamber, He could see the floating city of Terex, 9 stretching far beyond the clouds. Ships of every shape and size hovered in the sky lanes, weaving between towers of glowing light like schools of fish. In the distance, planets sparkled, and stars blinked with an intensity he had never imagined. He rubbed his eyes. This isn't real, is it? A soft laugh floated behind him. Lyra stood in the doorway, her silver hair shimmering like a river of light. It is real. All of it. And now, so are you.
Alex turned, startled. Me?
What do you mean, so am I? You are my partner, Lyra said. Through marriage, you are tied to every decision I make, every alliance, every treaty, every fleet under my command. You share that connection. Alex staggered back, trying to take it in. I didn't know humans could. I'm not a leader. I'm just a traitor. Lyra's eyes softened. Humans are underestimated. That is why you are useful. Your perspective is unique. Your choices are unexpected. You see things differently from centuries of tradition. That can be powerful. Alex blinked. Powerful. Okay, but I barely know how to manage my own stall, let alone an empire. Lyra smiled faintly. You will learn. The first step is understanding the scope. She gestured, and a holographic map filled the room. It displayed countless planets, space lanes, fleets, and alien territories. Lines connected them, glowing faintly with energy that Alex could feel hum through the floor. This, Lyra said, pointing to the network, is the Federation under my rule. Each line, each planet, each fleet responds to me. Decisions I make ripple across the galaxy. Alex stared at the map, mouth open. This is insane. This is like controlling everything. Yes, Lyra said. And you are now part of it. Over the next few hours, Thalor guided Alex through what this part meant. He learned that humans were rare in interstellar politics, often seen as weak, impulsive, and unpredictable. The aliens generally ignored them, or worse, underestimated them. You will see, Thalor said, that human unpredictability is both a danger and an advantage. The galaxy does not expect you to survive, let alone influence decisions. Alex swallowed. Danger and advantage? That sounded complicated. Their first stop was the council hall, a massive chamber floating above the city. Hundreds of alien delegates were already present, each representing their homeworld. They whispered among themselves as Alex entered, some glancing at him with curiosity, some with polite disdain. He felt like a small child walking into a room full of giants. Lyra gestured toward a seat next to her throne. Sit. Observe. Speak only when necessary. Alex sat, fidgeting with a crystal pendant around his neck. Every delegate's gaze seemed to pierce him, as if weighing whether he belonged here, or if he was a joke. The first topic on the agenda was a trade dispute between 2 planets. Both claimed ownership over a rare mineral vital for starship engines. The alien delegates had spent months arguing, and the discussion had reached a stalemate. Alex leaned over to Thalor. How are they going to solve this? They've been at it forever. Thalor shrugged.
They cannot. That is why humans are...
Interesting. Alex frowned. He wasn't sure what Thalor meant, but as the discussion dragged on, he noticed something. The aliens were relying on precedent, rules, and ancient contracts. They had ignored practical solutions, compromises, or creative thinking. Alex took a deep breath. Excuse me, he said, standing slowly. The room fell silent. Why not? Share the resource. Both planets get an equal portion for now, and we build a joint mining project later. That way, neither loses. Both benefit, and production increases for everyone. Whispers rippled through the room. Aliens glanced at each other, confused. The human had offered a solution that broke all tradition. Lyra leaned forward. Explain your reasoning. Alex swallowed. If you fight over rules and old claims, nothing happens. If you work together, everyone gains. Humans, we're used to thinking quickly and solving problems with what we have. For a long moment, the chamber was silent. Then, surprisingly, the delegates nodded. One by one, they began discussing the joint solution, adjusting their claims, and refining Alex's idea. Liara's eyes sparkled. See? You are useful. Alex felt a mixture of pride and terror. He had never led anyone in his life. And now, his words had influenced an entire federation of alien species. Later, Liara took Alex to a training room filled with alien technology. Consoles, holomaps, and devices he couldn't even name filled the space. You must understand our technology, she said. Not to operate it fully, but to understand how decisions affect it. Your insight may prevent mistakes humans cannot even imagine. Alex tried, failing repeatedly at the alien interfaces. Buttons pressed, holograms spun out of control, alarms beeped. Liara watched patiently, correcting only when necessary. You are learning faster than expected, she said. Do not underestimate yourself. Alex laughed nervously. Faster than expected? I've broken half your devices. Lyra smiled.
And yet your perspective is still valuable. That is what matters.
Humans see solutions others cannot, because we rely too much on structure and history. That evening, Alex walked along a balcony overlooking the city. The sky was alive with the colors of alien auroras, ships gliding silently through the lanes. Lyra joined him, her hand brushing his lightly. You are thinking too much about the scale, she said. Yes, I rule much. Yes, the galaxy watches. But you, humans have something rare. Courage, curiosity, empathy. These are strengths we often overlook in favor of logic and rules. Alex exhaled slowly. I feel like a tiny speck, like I don't belong. Lyra tilted her head. You feel that way because you do not yet understand your role. You are not meant to rule, but you are meant to influence. And sometimes, the smallest influence changes everything.
Alex looked at her. That sounds dangerous.
Perhaps, Lyra said, but also necessary. A few days later, a small alien delegation arrived unexpectedly. They delivered a cryptic message. The throne does not welcome the unworthy. The human may change everything, or break it. Alex's stomach churned. Was this a warning? A threat? He glanced at Liara, whose expression remained calm but unreadable. They are testing you, she said. You will face challenges that others would not survive. You may fail, or you may surprise them all. That is the human way. Alex swallowed hard. I don't even know how to survive here. Liara placed a hand on his shoulder. Then you will learn. And when you do, the galaxy will never see humans the same way again. That night, Alex lay in bed staring at the ceiling of his luxurious chamber. The crystal pendant glowed softly, a constant reminder that he was no longer just a human on a distant planet. He was married to the queen of everything, tied to a network of power and influence that spanned galaxies. Fear, excitement, and a strange sense of responsibility battled within him. For the first time in his life, he realized humans were underestimated, not because they were weak, but because their potential was unpredictable. Maybe Alex thought that unpredictability is exactly what the galaxy needs. And deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. Tomorrow, he would face his first true test, not in trade deals or markets, but in alien politics, diplomacy, and perhaps something far more complicated, proving that a human could survive and even thrive in a universe that thought he couldn't. The following morning, Alex Mercer stood on the balcony of Lyra's palace, staring at the floating city below. Ships of countless shapes glided between crystal towers, and alien pedestrians moved in orderly waves through the streets. From above, it was breathtaking and terrifying. He rubbed the crystal pendant at his neck, feeling its faint warmth. Since his arrival, he had learned that every glance, every word, every small gesture was watched. He was no longer just a human visitor. He was a partner to the queen of everything, and the galaxy was watching.
Are you ready? Lyra's voice broke through his thoughts.
She stepped beside him, her silver hair glinting in the morning light. Alex swallowed. Ready for what exactly? Your first mission, Lyra said. The council has requested your insight. A matter has arisen that they cannot resolve. They are stuck. You, however, have human perspective. That perspective may succeed where their centuries of tradition have failed. Alex frowned. Human perspective? Liara smiled faintly. Do not underestimate yourself. Humans see solutions where others see only rules. Alex took a deep breath. He had solved a trade dispute before, but this felt different. This was politics on a galactic scale, and failure could have consequences far beyond his imagination. The council chamber was already crowded when they arrived. Aliens of all shapes, sizes, and colors sat in meticulous rows, whispering among themselves. Ships hovered near the ceiling, showing messages of fleets and planetary conflicts and holographic panels. Alex's heart pounded. His first challenge was a dispute between 3 planets over water rights. Normally, such conflicts were decided by years of negotiation, legal codes, and fleets ready to enforce decisions. But the planet's leaders had reached a stalemate. You may speak, Liara said quietly. Observe carefully, then offer your solution. Alex nodded and stood, feeling every pair of eyes on him. He cleared his throat. I understand the problem, he began. 3 planets need water and they cannot agree on distribution. But what if we focus on creation instead of control? Instead of dividing the water as it exists, we invest in technology to produce more. Build desalination stations, pipelines, and storage units shared equally among the planets. That way, no one is deprived and everyone benefits. Murmurs swept through the chamber. Aliens whispered among themselves, baffled. Some frowned, some tilted their heads. None of them had thought of expanding the supply. They were stuck in rules, past agreements, and fear of breaking tradition. Liara raised a hand. Explain the risks and rewards, human. Alex nodded, gaining confidence. The risk is initial investment in coordination. The reward is long-term peace and growth. Everyone gains if we cooperate. For a tense moment, silence filled the chamber. Then, slowly, one alien leader spoke. It
Might work. Another nodded.
unorthodox, but feasible. By the end of the council session, the planets had agreed to form a joint commission to manage water production. Alex had done something centuries of alien diplomacy could not accomplish. He had solved a stalemate with human ingenuity. Liara's eyes shone with pride. See, you are already making a difference? Alex exhaled. I still can't believe it. I'm just a trader from Earth. Not anymore, Liara said softly. Humans have the ability to see beyond structure. You are more capable than you think. Over the next few days, Alex was immersed in the complex life of the palace. He attended briefings on fleet logistics, alien engineering, trade negotiations, and planetary resource management. He often failed spectacularly at first, misreading alien etiquette, pressing the wrong buttons on consoles, or misunderstanding alien humor. Yet every time, his mistakes were met with patience. And every time, his human intuition provided insights the aliens could not predict. During a briefing on a failing energy grid for a desert planet, the council debated endlessly over how to allocate energy between settlements. Plans were intricate, technical, and rigid. Alex listened quietly, then raised a hand. Why not store the energy during low-demand periods in centralized batteries, then release it where needed most, based on real-time consumption? That way, no settlement is left without power, and efficiency improves. The room fell silent. For the first time, the aliens considered a solution outside their strict protocols. Lyra's lips curved in a small smile. By the end of the week, the desert planet had implemented Alex's suggestion, and reports of improved energy distribution poured in. Small victories like these began to earn him respect, though few admitted it openly. One evening, Lyra led Alex to the palace garden, a terrace floating above the city, filled with alien flora that glowed softly under the artificial sun.
You are changing things, she said.
Factions that once doubted you now watch you carefully. Your perspective. Humans are unpredictable. That unpredictability terrifies them. Alex laughed nervously. Terrifies them? I'm just trying not to break everything. Do not underestimate your influence, Liara said. Your simple ways, empathy, curiosity, courage are qualities we often overlook. They remind everyone, including me, that there is more to leadership than power alone.
Alex stared at the alien flowers.
I never thought humans could matter on this scale. Liara's eyes softened. We thought we were the rulers. You show us that sometimes. The smallest voices can carry the greatest weight. But it wasn't all easy. Rival factions quietly tested him, sending cryptic warnings and subtle sabotage. One fleet commander attempted to misreport coordinates during a simulation. A planetary governor delayed critical shipments, hoping Alex's inexperience would cause a crisis. Alex noticed these subtle challenges and responded as a human would. He didn't rely on centuries of tradition. He observed, asked questions, and applied common sense. During a council meeting, he quietly uncovered the misreported coordinates. If the fleet follows these directions, they will reach empty space instead of the mining planet, he said. We need to recalculate and reroute immediately. The delay could be costly, but not irreversible. The council was stunned. The error could have been disastrous, but Alex's careful observation and quick thinking prevented it. Liara placed a hand on his shoulder afterward. You saved more than a fleet today. You earned trust, not by force, but by intelligence and vigilance. Alex felt a mixture of pride and disbelief. Humans, weak in the eyes of the galaxy, had just outsmarted centuries of alien planning. Word of Alex's successes began to spread quietly. Delegates who had once doubted him now whispered about the human who could solve problems no one else could. He began receiving small requests for advice, and his suggestions, always practical, empathetic, and clever, were increasingly accepted. Yet Alex remained humble. He still stumbled, misunderstood alien culture, and questioned his own abilities. But each day he saw the value of being human in a universe that expected humans to fail. One night, as he sat on his balcony overlooking the city, Liara joined him. The stars twinkled above, planets glimmered in the distance, and the hum of alien activity filled the air. You've come far, she said softly. You've influenced decisions across sectors, saved fleets, and helped planets cooperate. You are no longer underestimated. But your greatest challenge lies ahead. Alex frowned. Greatest challenge? What do you mean? Liara's expression turned serious. There are forces in the galaxy that will test you, that hope to see a human fail. They underestimate us. They underestimate you. Soon you will face trials that require courage, ingenuity, and empathy. The choices you make could affect not just planets, but the stability of the entire Federation. Alex's stomach tightened.
I'll try. I'll do my best.
Lyra smiled faintly. That is all anyone can ask, and sometimes a human's best is better than any alien plan. Alex looked out at the galaxy, realizing the truth of her words. Humans had always survived through resourcefulness, curiosity, and courage. In a universe that thought humans were weak, he was discovering something incredible. Humans could be quietly unstoppable. He clenched his fist, feeling determination rise within him. No matter what challenges came next, he would prove the galaxy wrong. And somewhere deep inside, he felt a thrill. He wasn't just a traitor anymore. He was a human making a difference in the heart of an alien empire. The galaxy was watching. And Alex Mercer was ready to rise. The day began quietly, almost peacefully.
Alex Mercer stood on the balcony of Lyra's palace, staring at the floating city of Terex, 9 below.
The streets buzzed with activity. Ships glided through the sky lanes, and the distant stars sparkled beyond the planets that orbited the city. But peace, Alex knew, was always temporary in a galaxy ruled by power, ambition, and centuries of rivalry. Liara appeared beside him, her presence calm and commanding. "There are forces in the Federation that are unhappy with our success," she said. "You have influenced decisions they thought impossible. Some of them will try to test you and us."
Alex felt his stomach tighten. Test me?
How? They will challenge your judgment, human. They will attempt sabotage and deception.
"They will hope that your inexperience will fail us. You must be ready." Alex swallowed. He had never been a warrior, never commanded fleets or ruled people. Yet, for weeks he had already outsmarted alien delegates, solved disputes, and prevented disasters through observation, logic, and human intuition. "I'll do my best," he said. Liara smiled faintly. "Your best is more than enough. That is why humans are underestimated. That unpredictability, it frightens them." Their first warning arrived in the form of a fleet report. A convoy meant to deliver essential energy cores to a distant mining planet had gone off course. Alex studied the holographic display, noting that the coordinates had been subtly altered. The route led directly into an asteroid field. Liara's eyes were steady. "It is deliberate," she said. "Someone wants this delivery to fail. The blame would fall on us, on you."
Alex felt a jolt of fear. One mistake, one delay could spark chaos.
But fear quickly gave way to focus. He leaned over the holographic map, tracing the altered path. "Here," he said, pointing. "The coordinates were modified by a small fraction. If the fleet follows this, they'll collide with asteroids. But there is a way to correct it. I can reroute them safely without alerting the perpetrators." Liara raised an eyebrow. "Do it!" Alex worked quickly, analyzing sensors, gravitational readings, and the fleet's current trajectory. With careful adjustments, he sent new coordinates and synchronized the fleet's response with onboard AI systems. Within hours, the convoy safely reached the mining planet. The Council's reactions were mixed. Some delegates whispered in awe. Others glared, frustrated that a human had intervened where centuries of planning had failed. Liara placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. "Once again, you have changed the outcome without force. That is the power of human insight." Alex exhaled, relief and pride swirling inside him. He had prevented disaster. Yet he knew this was only the beginning. The following week, the Council convened for a more personal challenge. A rival faction had begun spreading rumors about Alex, claims that humans were unreliable, weak, and incapable of handling responsibility. Delegates argued that Lyra's reliance on a human could endanger the Federation. Alex entered the chamber, tense but determined. Lyra whispered, "Observe. Listen. Then respond with clarity." As the debate escalated, Alex noticed a pattern in the rival statements. They relied on fear, exaggeration, and assumptions. They never tested facts, logic, or actual ability. He stood and spoke clearly, his voice steady. "I am human," he said. "Yes. Unusual in this council. But my actions speak for themselves. I have resolved disputes, saved fleets, and helped planets cooperate. I do not rely on tradition or intimidation. I rely on observation, empathy, and reasoning. If my presence threatens the Federation, it is not because of inability, but because you fear change." The room fell silent. Aliens exchanged glances, realizing his words carried weight.
Alex continued.
"We can cling to rules, history, and hierarchy, or we can adapt. Humans survive not by strength alone, but by thinking, by seeing what others overlook."
That is what I bring. That is what you underestimate.
Liara's eyes sparkled with pride. She did not need to speak. The Council had seen enough. Even some of the fiercest rivals had no choice but to acknowledge the truth. The human had contributed in ways no alien could. But the true test arrived suddenly. A distress signal blinked across the palace console. A remote research station on the outskirts of the Federation's territory had gone silent. Ships sent to investigate were met with interference. The Council demanded immediate action. Lyra turned to Alex. "This is yours. Observe, plan, and act. You will not command fleets. You will not fight. But your insight may save lives."
Alex's heart raced.
He had never been on a mission like this. But as he studied the data, he noticed subtle inconsistencies in the station's energy readings. Something, or someone, was interfering remotely. The pattern was deliberate, but flawed. "I think I know what's happening," he said. "The interference is timed to create panic. If we send ships directly, they will be misled into danger. But if we approach using indirect sensor paths and staggered navigation, we can bypass the interference and reach the station safely." Liara's eyes narrowed. "Proceed." Using a combination of fleet simulation, real-time sensor analysis, and a simple human intuition for patterns, Alex coordinated a safe path for the rescue mission. Ships reached the station without incident. The researchers were unharmed, and the station's system stabilized. The council erupted in murmurs of amazement. The crisis had been averted, not by force or centuries of protocol, but by human observation and ingenuity. Lyra placed her hand on Alex's shoulder once more. "You have done more than survive. You have proven that a human can influence outcomes the galaxy thought impossible." Alex smiled, exhausted, but proud. "I didn't expect to make such a difference." "You did?" Lyra said. "Because humans think differently. They adapt. They see where others fail. You've shown that quietly, without weapons, without intimidation. Humans are formidable." The news spread quickly across the Federation. Aliens who had doubted humans now whispered in awe. The very idea that a human could solve problems and avert disasters, without fleets, armies, or technology beyond what any species already had, was revolutionary. Alex began to realize the truth of Lyra's earlier words. Humans were underestimated not because they were weak, but because their strengths were invisible to the galaxy: curiosity, empathy, courage, and ingenuity. He spent the next days advising on planetary disputes, fleet logistics, and technological challenges. Each success earned more respect. He was no longer seen as a naive human or a curiosity. He was an advisor, a strategist, and a reminder to the galaxy that power was not always obvious. One evening, Alex and Lyra stood on the palace balcony, overlooking the city bathed in the glow of alien auroras. Ships glided silently between towers, planets sparkled in the distance, and the galaxy stretched infinitely beyond. "You've come far," Lyra said softly. "The Federation now respects you. They may still doubt, but they cannot ignore. You've done what no human has done before." Alex exhaled. "I still feel small, like this is bigger than anything I could have imagined." Liara smiled, her eyes calm and powerful. "You are human, and humans, even small, are quietly unstoppable. You've survived tests, outsmarted rivals, and shown what courage looks like without force. That is the essence of strength." Alex looked at her, thinking about the weeks since he had arrived. He had walked into a marriage expecting adventure. He had been thrown into the heart of the galaxy's politics and power struggles. And now he realized that humans were not just participants. They could shape outcomes, quietly, cleverly, and with empathy. "I guess humans aren't as weak as the galaxy thinks," he said. Liara laughed softly. "No, we now know the truth. And the galaxy will learn it too." Alex glanced at the stars. The threats would never end. There would always be rivals, conflicts, and challenges. But for the first time he felt ready. He had discovered that his human perspective, simple, unpredictable, empathetic, was more powerful than the galaxy realized. He squeezed the crystal pendant at his neck. He had not expected to marry a queen. He had not expected to influence fleets, planets, and councils. But humans were not meant to follow blindly. They were meant to adapt, to think, to survive, and to quietly thrive against impossible odds. And now, Alex Mercer, human traitor and unlikely partner to the Queen of Everything, knew one thing with certainty: the galaxy had underestimated humans, and it would never do so again.